Well, it took some effort, but I finally got my hands on the Yoda and Commander Gree 2-pack. What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be looking at the Yoda and Commander Gree 2-pack from the Clones of the Republic line in the Black Series. I've had my eye on this one since they announced it, and it sold out almost immediately on Hasbro. I had to wait until it came up on Shop Disney months later, and that was a whole other can of worms, but we'll get into that in a little bit here. As you saw, the packaging is pretty standard, so we're going to get right into the figures, starting off with Commander Gree. The thing that stands out the most on this figure is the paint. Normally, Commander Gree is represented in his Kashyyyk look from Revenge of the Sith, which is kind of a camo print, but they chose to go with a different vibe here, picking a look from the expanded universe. I believe it's from one of the comics. I actually really like it. I think it's a more accurate representation, or at least more in line with the paint schemes on a lot of the other clone trooper battalions, so I think it looks great. Now, it's not going to be what most people think of when they think of Commander Gree, but all in all, it's a really nice looking figure. The paint's well done, I think it's well executed, and it's on that newer clone body, so it's got all the articulation you want, and all around it's just a solid figure. If it wasn't a named character, it would even be great for army building. That brings us to Yoda next, and I think this is the reason why a lot of people went and picked up this set. It's a new Yoda, it comes with a swappable head, and a bunch of accessories, lightsaber, council chair, and it even comes with the walking cane. I want to touch base on that just a second because this thing looks pretty fragile. As you can see, it's really thin there, right where you would want to wedge that into his hand or his grip. And so I kind of fed it in through the top with the bottom of the cane, and it still worked out pretty good. That's just a word of caution, as I suspect that could break pretty easily, and I wouldn't want to find out the hard way. Looking ahead at the council chair now, and this is a big selling point, you gotta get his legs positioned just right to have him sit in there and have it not look awkward, but once you figure it out, it looks pretty good. My council chair unfortunately came with a little bit of blemishing or scratch marks on the back, as you can see there, but still looks pretty good, and I'm happy with having one rather than not having one. And you can see here, it's to scale with Yoda, but that makes it a pretty small chair in comparison to, say, Commander Gree, who's standing next to him. Looking at the heads now, they did give us an extra head, so it's nice to have an alternative. I think that's something the Black Series could do more of. It came off pretty easily. I had a little bit of difficulty getting the alternate one on, but it didn't take too much and it didn't feel forced, so I'm happy with that. And this is just such a nice look for him. He really looks like he's ready to go. It was even a bit easier than expected to get Yoda into some action poses, so I was happy about that. And when you put him next to Gree, they just look great together. I think this is a really good duo, and I couldn't be happier having picked this up. While we let Gree go for a spin and take a 360 look, you can see that it just looks like a really solid figure. I think this is one of my favorite clone troopers. I know that's probably not a popular opinion, but I think he just looks dang good. Yoda looks great as well, and this is probably the best Yoda, in my opinion, that we've seen in the line. They've done a really great job with the scale. You can't say enough about getting an alternate head, and paired up with this Commander Gree, I think they just look great. You'll be able to do a lot with that Yoda in terms of how you choose to display him, but I also think it looks good just how it came with that alternate version of Commander Gree. I was playing around a little bit and thought it would be cool to see them in action together a few more ways, and even on the back of Gree, Yoda looks pretty cool. They look like they're ready to go into battle and mess some stuff up. Now, I did mention earlier that I had a bit of extra difficulty getting my hands on this, and I'll go into that in more depth in a different video, but that's pretty much what happened right there. And I had to resort to picking this up on eBay at a markup, which I was not happy about. If you want to see what happened, tune into that other video. And otherwise, until the next time, stay safe, and I will catch you on the flip side.